Welcome to the Michigan Golfer Show with your host, Bill Shelton. Join us each week as we explore the people, the places, and the events that shape our great game.
We're talking to Dave Harner, the director of golf at the French Lick Resort. We're standing here on the first tee of the Donald Ross course. First designed in 1917, and as so many old courses, they get redesigned. But recently, the decision was made that we're going to make sure that we follow what Donald Ross wanted, and you went through a renovation process here to make sure it was still a Donald Ross course.
We did. First of all, I want to apologize to all you for the weather. I'm sorry I couldn't do better. Yeah, the Donald Ross restoration here has been pretty special in that, you know, I think we all agreed at the beginning we check our egos at the door and we do Donald Ross. And we hired Lee Schmidt, who's a partner with Brian Curley out in Arizona, to do the restoration. He'd never done a restoration of a Ross course. We involved the executive director of the Donald Ross Society, Michael Fay, and got his assistance and input. And then we had a set of plans, the original plans, and a 1926 aerial photo. So couple all that together, and that's what we get.
You know, when you talk about the Donald Ross course, I mean, certainly it moves up and down the hills, beautiful as people can see in the background here. But I think you talk about the old design, and we're here at the first tee. The tee box is squared off, and then the greens. Those are two features, and the bunkers. Those are maybe three pieces of Donald Ross that really stand out here.
Well, the greens, you know, you mentioned those. The greens had actually shrunk probably to two-thirds their original size over time with the mechanical mowing. They'd all become round and smaller. So the first challenge we had was to relocate the original perimeters of those greens, and our superintendents used soil probe and went around and found the complexes, and we took all 18 of the greens at the Valley Links, and we laid all that sod to restore the sizes of these greens. So that tells you how much they shrunk. We had 18 greens to restore sizing.
Yeah. Now on the bunkers, you actually uncovered bunkers, as you said, and kind of designed the bunkers back to his design of those.
Right. With the old bunkers, we'd lost about 32, 35 bunkers over time. They'd been taken out. Previous ownerships and previous managements didn't feel they were in play, so therefore they didn't need to maintain them. But as you know, those bunkers are put there for a reason by Mr. Ross, to give the whole flow a character, and show you kind of guide you as to how to play it. And so when we started working on the locations of those bunkers, we were surprised to find that most of them hadn't been removed; they'd just been filled in. So we found all the old clay tile covered with cinders, and we knew we had the right spots.
Now, we have been here at the French Lick Resort this week looking at the new Pete Dye course, having a chance to play it. You've got the 9-hole course, the Bigelow course, Bigelow, I believe it is, and now you have this course. And Steve Ferguson, the chairman of the Cook Group, said, we want this to be the golfing destination in America. It's pretty hard to argue with what you've got so far. Steve, we're here in beautiful French Lick, Indiana, and I'm serious about that. This is a magnificent. We're in the West Baden Hotel tonight. There's the French Lick Hotel. There's the casino. There is the Ross course. There's the 9-hole course. And tomorrow we will be taking our first look at the Pete Dye course. Tell us a little bit about this facility and about Cook.
Well, Cook is a medical device manufacturer. We're the largest privately held medical device manufacturer in the world. But we've done a lot of restoration work in southern Indiana, and we got engaged in saving the West Baden Hotel because of both its engineering significance and its historic significance as a part of history of the United States, really. And one thing led to another, and so then we were able to acquire the French Lick Springs Hotel, which is another historic hotel. It's the only place in the country there are two significant structures like these, and then they've been completely renovated. We were fortunate enough to have, with the French Lick Hotel, the Donald Ross course, as you mentioned, which is where the 24 PGA was played. The LPGA was played there in 1959 and 60. And many other tournaments as one of the top courses in Indiana. We were also fortunate to have the original plans of that and a photograph from 1926 taken in the air. So we've done a restoration. So if you wanted to play a course The way it was played in 1924 PGA, you could come back and play that historic one. And then we were fortunate to have a world-class designer of this generation in Pete Dye, who's done a absolutely amazing thing, and he just put his heart and soul into that. He's been on site over 100 times, and I mean, when he comes, he walks that course from one end, all 18 holes, and when you see it tomorrow, you're going to see something really special.
What's going to be in 3 years or 5 years? What's going to be that affirmation that, you know, the investment that we've made in that component contributed overall to this whole area in this project?
Well, the Pete Dye course is, it's really, as I said, Pete's put his heart and soul into it, and if you ask him, he probably would say it's one of his best courses, if not the best course he's ever done. The fact that the PGA professionals are going to play here in 2010 gives you some affirmation. I think that over the next few years, people will recognize it, and there'll be other major tournaments here, which is the affirmation of that. But everyone that I've had up there, and we haven't opened it for play yet, but I've played with some people who play a lot of courses around the country. One who's on the IU Board of Trustees with me, and he's a member of Medina and all the big courses around the country, and he came down and he was astounded. He said, every scratch golfer in the country is going to want to come play this course.
Well, it's a lofty goal. I think anyone who knows the Cook Group and knows Steve Ferguson is they don't just make statements like that. They intend to try to make that happen, and I think we've got a really, really good start. You know, this is a great classic golf course, and of course Pete's has more modern golf courses in the top 15 or 20 than anybody living. So I would say that we've got a good start. We've got the best of the old, best of the new here on one piece of property.
Walter Hagen won the PGA here in the 1920s. I was looking back. I was trying to put this one in Donald Ross's plans, and he did the number 2 course over in Pinehurst in like the late 20s. He did this in 1917,
yes,
and in the 20s you actually had a PGA tournament here.
Yeah, only 7 years after it was actually planned. You know, the old records go back as far as 1916. I believe we found some payments to Donald Ross as retainer to start this process in early 1916.
And on the new course, the Pete Dye course here, you've got a tournament already scheduled to come here in just a couple of years.
Well, they're going to be playing both golf courses, Bill. The PNC, the Professionals National Championship, the old Club Pros Championship is going to be here. 312 club professionals from across the United States, and of course the top 20 qualify for the PGA. But they'll actually play here and the Pete Dye golf course, and it'll be interesting to see the contrast between the old and the new with the player.
Well, I tell you what, we've seen 2 outstanding golf courses, very different in many ways, but outstanding test of golf. And then if you just want to say, okay, I need a little bit more, an excellent 9-hole course and learning center also on the property here at the French Lick Resort. So there's casinos, there's hotels, there's golf, there's all the things that you'd want to do. The spa, certainly very big here in this area. So if you get the chance, make sure that you put French Lick Resort on your plans for the future. And thanks, Dave, for letting us see a beautiful golf course.
I enjoy the back 9.
Thank you so much.
Keep it going there, guys. Keep it going.